Very good. All right, Mike, we're ready when you are.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the LGBTQIA plus intersectional rights task force for the Human Rights Commission. This is the part where we do introductions. So I am Mike Waters, and I'm the chair. I live in Ward 7. I'm on the Human Rights Commission, and my pronouns are they, them, and I will pass it to Kathy.
Hi, my name is Kathy. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a resident of South Salem, just south of Ward 4, and a member of the Human Rights Commission. I will pass it to Byron.
Hello, everyone. My name is Byron, and he, him pronouns. I'm from Ward 5, and I am a sitting member of the LGBTQIA Inclusion Task Force. And I will pass it on to Chikerico.
Hi, Tricarico, resident of Ward 2. I'm a commissioner of the LGBTQIA plus intersectional task force, and I don't know who else is on here to pass it. I think that's everyone. Back to Gretchen.
I think it's just Gretchen, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I'm Gretchen Bennett, staff to the Human Rights Commission in the task force, and she, her pronouns.
Excellent. Well, we do have a quorum with Tricarico and Byron and I wondered if you all had a chance to look at our minutes. We not only have our April minutes, but we did not approve our March minutes last time, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at those. They were sent a while ago. But I think we should probably, what's the best way to do that, Gretchen? Should we just do April since it's more recent, or should we try to do both sets of minutes?
I'd encourage you to try to do both if you can, just so you don't have to delay March to May. But if anyone, if that works, if you know, if you need to see him again and want to delay it, you certainly can.
All right. Did Tricarico and Byron in particular, did both of you get a chance to look at both sets of minutes between meetings? Yeah, I did too. So I think we can go ahead and entertain a motion to approve both sets.
I'll make a motion.
I will second that motion.
When there's only 3 of you, it's very easy to all those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, excellent. Well, sorry, I'm clicking around a little bit, making sure I have my my agenda. Did we receive any public comment? I skipped that part.
We did not.
Okay. So then our topic turns to the Safe Spaces project. And Byron, I believe you weren't here last week, but you would have, or last time, but you would have seen in the minutes kind of the direction of the discussion. We had a really wonderful visitor, community member who shared with us some suggestions around expanding the project to include some city-owned properties. So we, initially envisioned this as a voluntary opportunity for business owners, but the community member kind of pointed out, and after some discussion, we really felt that the city should be an enthusiastic participant in this program for it to really work best. The city can also play a role in modeling the kinds of behaviors and approach that we want our business owners that are part of the program to do. So it just seemed like a really good set of suggestions. But since you weren't here last time, Byron, and not to put you on the spot, but I wondered if you, in reading that in the minutes, if you kind of concurred with those thoughts or had any different thoughts.
I would say as of right now, I concur with the thoughts. Interested in seeing what directions we take with this, and I will leave it at that for now.
That's great. Well, I got a note from Gretchen just a few minutes ago, or I saw it a few minutes ago. I think you sent it a while, that the City Parks Department is interested in coming and talking with our group. And their availability was our next task force meeting. Is that right? June 23rd?
Yes.
So I thought that would be a good opportunity for us to kind of start digging in there a little bit and seeing, how we might partner with them on that. And I think there's probably other city departments and agencies that we should also talk with, like library in particular, around how we bring this safe spaces idea forward there. So that's kind of exciting. And I imagine I answered on behalf of all of us that I thought it was great for the Parks Department to come next month. So I hope that's all right. I thought you might all be cool with that. That's all I had in the way of updates on the program, but I wondered if there was further things we wanted to discuss tonight around moving forward. Some of the outstanding tasks for it relate to beefing up the proposal a little bit for the budget components of it, which we know are not likely to be filled until next year. Because the budget process is well underway for 2022. So we're looking more at like asking in 2022 and having it fulfilled maybe in 2023. So beefing up the proposal was one of the tasks. And then I think the other big task is putting together the resource packet, which we have done some brainstorming around. But are there other streams of work or other things that we should be working on to move us toward this, knowing it's a ways out?
Tricarico here. I was wondering if we could maybe invite Bella to take a look at it, from the lens of working with like domestic violence victims. Maybe there's an aspect there we could try to include as well, like what would be a way to support someone who might be in that situation, as well as just like her general experience of working with folks who experience trauma.
I love that idea. Part of our process, I know, when the proposal is more fleshed out, is to take it to the whole commission, so that we can make sure that we're addressing disability issues and BIPOC issues, and make sure that it's a well-rounded program. But I think your point about Bella's experience is very, very good, because Bella is, because that lens is one that we don't often talk about, but it's kind of a perfect fit for what we're trying to do with safe spaces. We're really literally trying to make the city safer.
Would you like me to go ahead and initiate that and send to Bella and invite her thoughts?
Yeah, I would love that.
Good.
Answering for the group again, I imagine I see head nods and we're good. Good.
I agree, Mike, with your list of the tasks. I think, beefing up the budget proposal and putting together the resource packet, any other adds to this document that anyone would have, but those seem like the next steps. I didn't know how much interest there would be on the task force to list out the documents that you want to add and write some text around it. We've kind of gotten a start on that. Or if you'd like to have me put together something to bring back for the group, I wasn't sure what the interest would be.
Well, knowing that we're all volunteers, it might be helpful for you to give us a running start, Gretchen, as you often do. That's always really helpful for us, but I do think also that if folks, or if anyone's feeling particularly passionate about working on it, that and I have some passion around it, so I would love to connect with you on it, Gretchen, as you're working through it. I don't know if anyone else has some passion around the resource packet.
I can't remember, Gretchen, did I already send you a couple documents about that, or have I
I
not
think
sent
you
those
did.
yet? Okay, yeah. I sent 2 resources of folks that I thought would be useful just to include. And I might actually have more. They would be more just like things to consider. So, you know, I can put them together and then we can review them together and decide, are they appropriate for this program? So I'll try to get those ready for the next meeting.
Thank you. That's awesome.
That's terrific. Thank you, Tricarico. Well, we also talked last time about, you know, how to launch this through communication. And that's still a ways out, but we did have some good brainstorms that were captured in the minutes. So I feel that's another work stream that we'll have that we can do things with. I'm using the word work stream. I think I've just been working too hard lately at my job because I'm using all these business jargon words. Let's see, what is there anything else we want to talk about tonight with regards to safe spaces? Yes, Byron.
I guess just to make sure that we're all on the same page, to touch base, to use some of that office jargon. Just as a reminder, like, what is sort of our timeline for these pieces moving together?
Well, because of the budget component, which I do think is an important component of this personally, but we can, you know, we can talk about whether we want to try to move forward without budget. But because of the budget, we really are looking at like late spring and early summer.
So around this same time next year, like May.
Yeah, kind of same time next year to have that proposal in. And Gretchen, you can kind of maybe advise us about the best timing to get those kinds of proposals in. Is it early in the spring? Is it, you know?
Yeah, I would want to bring it a little bit sooner. It appears that we start putting together budget concepts more in the fall, winter, and then those get as an option into the city manager's proposed budget. Of course, then there's also bringing things directly to the budget committee, which is more
spring.
They get started in the winter. Yeah, winter, spring. So
Winter,
yeah,
spring.
we can be monitoring that as we go along.
So if we had a proposal together, say this fall, we could provide that to the city manager, and there might even be a shot of getting some funding for 2022, or would we still be looking at like a 2023?
Oh, forgive me. Well, I was just going to say, it depends on how much we're talking about. The city manager prepares a recommended budget, and he provides that to the budget committee in spring, and so that gets prepared in winter. So I was just mentioning one entry into the budget would be to offer the city manager some information for consideration in the recommended budget, kind of the place of beginning. That's one approach. But the thing is, depending on the cost, I'm not sure what the price point is for working with the artist. And that's, I think, the big question. I think it would be predictable that we could afford in the current fiscal year 22 budget printing of materials.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be doable for us today. And so I think the big question that I would have is, what would it cost to design the first decal? And I'm not sure whether that's in this budget year or whether that's a bigger ask. And maybe there's even a partnership with the Salem Public Arts Commission, for example, around that first year of design. So it might behoove us to do a little exploration on what we think a price point is for that. I could, if you want, ask the Salem Public Arts Commission if they could advise us on a place of beginning for that, or maybe some of you have that expertise.
I really like the idea of Salem Public Arts Commission advising. You know, I have a lot of expertise in hiring illustrators and graphic artists for commercial work. But I don't really think this is the same thing. I think this is art with a public purpose. And it seems like the Arts Commission may have a better sense of how those opportunities are, well, one, advertised with equity in mind, so that we definitely reach our communities that are impacted by the Safe Spaces project, so that the people who are creating the art are members of the communities that it represents. And I think that that's something that's important to us. So how we advertise is important. And then, yeah, how you price public art, I think, is a slightly different question from the type of stuff I have experience with. I don't know about you others on the task force, but I would really value and welcome their advice on how to manage the process so that we get the right kind of artist and pay them appropriately.
I can reach out to the commission or the Salem Public Arts Commission. Are there any additional questions or thoughts that comes to mind as I prepare to do that? That's a good list. I just took some notes.
Looks like that looks like we're good.
Good. At what point of readiness would you like to take the package to the Human Rights Commission? Like, would you want to have a draft of the training and resources packet to accompany this document, and then perhaps some notes on the budget, including acquiring the art, and then maybe that's when it's ready?
That seems like a good place to be. Thinking about timing, if we wanted to have this in front of the city manager for possible inclusion in the recommended budget in the fall, maybe having something in front of the Human Rights Commission by late summer, by August or so, would be a really good timing that would set us up to be successful in getting it in front of the city manager in fall. And then hopefully through the winter and spring, the budget committee would adopt. I don't think that this is going to be a very expensive program for the city, but it will be really good to have a budget associated with it. What do you all think of that timing?
Yeah, I would say I'm on the same page as far as timing goes. If we can have something by late summer and get it in front of the Human Rights Commission around, I would say August, maybe early September. I'd say no issues there.
Yeah, that seems also really doable. So really manageable. Cool. Well, anything else on the Safe Spaces project tonight? Great. I feel really good about the direction we're headed, and we've kind of picked at it a little bit each meeting, which is nice. So it's iterative, and yeah, just feeling really good about the program and the input we've got so far. So that's terrific. I had another agenda item, and it didn't get added to the agenda, I think, because we had a different city partner last month, and I didn't connect the dots to make sure that Gretchen got it added. But it was around looking at whether we wanted to do some other types of LGBTQIA plus recognitions throughout the year. Our task force has traditionally been associated with Trans Day of Remembrance. And I noted at the end of March that Trans Day of Visibility kind of came and went. And it caused me to wonder, is our task force within the city of Salem, is that one of the things that we want to pay attention to, is whether we're organizing it or some other group is organizing it, that some of the important LGBTQIA recognitions throughout the year, at least something happens, not whether it's an event or even a social media post from the city, just something that that keeps some of those events alive. I mentioned Trans Day of Visibility. I know that we have some Pride Month activities that are going on that I believe Councillor Nordyke proposed a proclamation. Is that right?
She did, and I'm realizing I'm remiss in not having included that as an attachment for you. I'll be sure to email it out. There was a proclamation that was jointly shared at Monday night's city council meeting this week from Councillor Virginia Stapleton and from Vanessa Nordyke. And so I'll be sure to send that out so you have a copy of it.
Great. But thinking about Pride, and then we have Capital Pride, which is typically in August, and there's already a group that kind of organizes around that. It seems like the next kind of milestone that comes up is National Coming Out Days in October. I don't know if we had any kind of interest in that. And then of course we'll have Trans Day of Remembrance again in November. And I think there's quite a good amount of passion in our group to continue with that. But I wondered just generally what folks thought about expanding the number of events that we pay attention to. And I keep saying we pay attention to because I don't think it means that we have to do a whole big event like we do with Trans Day of Remembrance for everything. But I wondered if we wanted to expand the number of events that we're kind of involved with or paying attention to, and what we might want to do. So I just open question. What do you guys think?
I mean, I would be interested in definitely furthering the discussion, but I can see us doing something around, as you touched upon, Pride Month in June. I would personally be in favor of some historic anniversaries in the mix. Like, for example, recognizing the anniversary of Stonewall. And I was going to say the election of Harvey Milk. Potentially, I mean, perhaps, we could loop in several events into like a pride recognition of some sort. And this could be something we recommend citywide, along with Councillor Nordic and Stapleton's recent Pride Month statement. But it's a possibility I'm open to.
I recognize that I don't even have a sense of all the recognition type events that are out there. I mean, I think I was on one of the social medias the other day, and I can't tell you what date it was, but it was Lesbian Day of Visibility. So I wonder if there's a clearinghouse or a resource out there that has a lot of these, as you mentioned, Byron, these anniversaries of things, as well as the recognition events and months. And it might be something that if we could get our hands on a good, very thorough list, we could kind of pick out the ones that seemed like they made the most sense for us to provide, even if it's, like I said, just the city doing a Facebook post that provides visibility to our community through the city, which is kind of nice. So did you have any thoughts, Tricarico? I think we kind of half raised this last month, and I know you had some interest in it, but did you have anything more come to you throughout the month?
No, I had the same thoughts you did. Is there a central location that has a whole bunch of these days listed that we could use as a guideline, and then decide like, okay, how often are we going to do this? How many of these days do we want to tackle? Are there any other like anniversaries? Kind of nice to get like list going, and then we can kind of as a task that we're working on kind of throughout the year, alongside our safe spaces thing. So I think, yeah, get a list going and then decide like how much of this do we have capacity to do and what does it look like? Is it a full event? Is it, like you said, a Facebook post? So yeah, I'm kind of where you're at.
Cool.
The only list that I can remember was one created by a former commissioner who at one point tried to research all of the possible recognitions or moments or weeks or months that might be of interest to the Human Rights Commission,
Oh, the full,
and put
yeah.
together a list. I could find that and send it out as a place of beginning, but it'll include a lot of things that, again, it's the intersectional task
Yeah,
force.
we're
so you'll see-
intersectional. We're cool with that. Well, I think it's worthwhile to explore and to see what we can do to, again, this is about, I think a lot of this is about how the city shows up and what the city can do, and was really grateful to read about Commissioner or Councillor Stapleton and Councillor Nordyke's proposal. That those kinds of things, when they happen, are meaningful to people in our communities because it means that we're seen by city leadership. So more things. That's I think that sounds like a great plan to start with the list that was already generated, and I'll see if I can find some clearinghouse for LGBTQIA plus stuff as well. Do some Googling. Well, that was everything I had on agenda tonight. I think member remarks and announcements. Was there anything anybody wanted to share or have us consider?
No remarks to add, no.
No remarks tonight. Well, I think we can go ahead and adjourn then, and we'll look forward to the discussion with the Parks Department next month.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.